Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Yo, what up? This is Rocky Asuka Romero of Chaos, and you are listening to Keepin It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy, Donovan, and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out in Barrio the Frogs. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here with the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll be previewing the Super J Cup, answering your questions, and covering all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns over at socialsuplex.com. This episode of Keeping It Strong Style is brought to you by Powerslam TV. Powerslam TV is an independent wrestling streaming service with over 5,000 hours of wrestling from companies across the world. Use the promo code SOCIALSUPLEX to get your first month free. Also, make sure to check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, ProWrestlingTees.com/SocialSuplex. That's where you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt. All right, young boy. We are here post G1. We're live, man.
How long I gotta hold this gimmick?
Yeah, you might have seen on Twitter, got a new podcasting gimmick, new mics, the Rodecaster. Got some new mics. I'm waiting on getting some new mic stands, so we're got the mics in the hand right now. But yeah, man.
Jeremy, I've been public speaking, singing, playing music, podcasting for a mad long time. These are the heaviest microphones I've ever held in my entire life. And then I show up and, I'm just the talent. I offer nothing but my voice to this group. And I guess now I have to also offer my strong arm because literally my triceps and biceps, I wasn't going to work arms till tomorrow, but now that's kind of out the window because this thing is, 30 pounds, 45 pounds?
Probably something like that, yeah.
My God. Yo, so why don't we get some young boys that will come in here and just literally kneel next to the table and hold the mics for us and just hold them up to our faces.
Sounds good to me.
And they'll never say anything. It'll be like those. We never talk about this on the show, and this is the most unsettling thing about New Japan Pro Wrestling. What's up with the security guards that literally sit in the aisleway facing the crowd and never look in the direction of the camera, never look up? They literally just face the crowd and they're on their hands and knees, and we never talk about this. There's always between 3 to 15 of them on either side of the aisle. What is that about?
I don't know, man.
Am I the only person that is bothered so greatly by this?
I mean, I see security guards at American shows that are just they're standing, but their backs are facing. So I don't know.
Not like this. This seems like some weird sex slave sort of stuff. I'm bothered by it.
So we have a question here from.
No. Before we get to those questions, we've got to talk about this. It's really, really important. Jeremy, how is it to be doing your first show in your 30s, brother?
Yeah, man. Had the big 3-0 on Sunday. Officially now in the 30s club. And, I'm still feeling good right now so far.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, so this podcast is brought to you by two grown men who are in their 30s, not in their teens. You want to listen to a show that has teens, go listen to, I don't know, some AEW show or some crap like that. This is for real pro wrestling with real men, Harley Race style. But no, we went out Saturday. Tell them about the adventures that I had on Saturday, man.
Yeah, Saturday we went out.
Tell them about Uncle Dave.
Yeah, we did. Saturday we went on the brew bus, a little tour that takes you around different breweries around Tampa and St. Pete area.
Great idea, by the way.
Went with the young boy here and Rich Latta and Zach Porter, front of the show. And so it's a public tour, so there's other people that come on the bus. And we had a Dave Meltzer lookalike.
I swear to God, this guy looked, when I saw him, I literally was like, that's Dave Meltzer. Obviously, Dave does not drink, so it wasn't him. But I was like, guys, look at this guy over here. He freaking looks just like Dave Meltzer. And once he opened his mouth, though, I was like, and he started talking, he had like the highest pitched, like most annoying voice. I was like, yeah, that's not Dave.
Yeah, that's not Dave.
But he really looked like him.
He did, but he had a -5-star behavior.
Yo, what is, guys, white people? What?
Oh man.
So here's the thing, guys. Like, this is kind of crazy. This brew bus, they give you 2 free beers on the actual bus, and then you stop at 3 breweries, so you get 1 free beer at each brewery, totaling to 5 beers from what, 12:30 to 4:30?
12 to 4:30. Yeah.
A 4.5-hour deal with 5 beers. That's literally like how much if you're like quote unquote responsibly drinking, like that's pretty, like you might be kind of buzzed after that, but that's about it. Or should be. Bro, these people on this bus were freaking hammered.
Yeah, man.
And they were not when we got on that bus. Like,
yeah, they were totally sober. They did not pregame or anything.
Yeah, we asked them. We're like, "Did you guys?" Because they start getting out of hand. I think it's the fact that they're on the bus. Like, for white people, like being on the bus, they just lose their dang mind. Like, they don't like. They're like, it's a bus. There's rails. We're gonna rage. And they're playing like music that did not slap. Like, literally, like we got video of this one point where they're playing like "I Got a Feeling" by the Black Eyed Peas. And, like, these people are losing their minds. I'm like, yo, this is not college. This is not 2008. Like,
yeah, man, they got white girl wasted.
It was bad. And then there was this one lady, and she decided she needed to learn everybody's name on the entire bus. And then every time we got back to, like, anytime we're in the vicinity of each other, she wanted to say everyone's name to prove she remembered it all. But I kept giving her the wrong name because I didn't think she needed to know my name. And she was so drunk, she kept getting confused. And then, like, the last time that I was on the bus, because I left early, she came over and tried to, like, give me a lap dance. And I literally put my foot up and kicked her. I was like, no, ma'am. This is a Christian household. This is not going to fly. But then she literally, like, was, like, on the seat next to me, but, like, hunched over. She had her hands in my, like, freaking, like, lap. She was grabbing my knees and, like, trying to talk. And by the way, her husband was Dave Meltzer.
Right, yeah, the Uncle Dave lookalike.
Uncle Dave, and he was losing it too. At one point, she grabbed Rich's beard, and she was trying to, like, talk to him. And I, like, pulled him out of there. Like,
well, before that, she was trying to grab my beard. She was like, "I really like your beard." She's like, "I wish I could grow a beard."
Yo, it was so handsy. I felt like me too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was wrong. Oh my
yeah, and then after you left, man, it just went downhill from there, man. Dude, they were just trash on the bus. Uncle Dave was throwing up.
Oh my god,
dude, it was a hot mess, but it was fun people watching though.
So you're basically saying, like, I'm Kenny Omega and the Elite, and after I left, it went all downhill.
Yeah.
So y'all's Goto and Shibata and, you know, Kenta,
yeah,
Ishii.
But yeah, man, that was a fun time. And then
now we had a really good time, but those people, I couldn't believe it. 5 beers? Are you kidding me? Bro, we were completely fine.
Yeah, dude, we're fine. You know,
the most belligerent we got was when we were playing Uno.
Yeah. Yo, that was a mad intense game of Uno.
I don't think you guys were playing the rules right, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, there were some made up rules.
There were some rules that were being thrown around.
That's the problem with playing Uno. Growing up, like, nobody ever read the rules, so like everybody kind of has like their own like house rules.
I felt like it was refereed by like Red Shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got his own rules.
It was refereed by Nick Patrick. we're getting screwed out there.
Well, but I kept winning. So I don't know how you guys are getting screwed. I kept winning.
You were the one that was,
Now I was playing by y'all's rules and beating y'all at your own game.
Oh man, but yeah, that was a good time. So, shout out to everybody that wished me a happy birthday this weekend, and everybody that was celebrating with me. Happy to be in the 30s. That
just means like a fine wine. The show's just gonna get better and better.
Yeah, man. This is episode 90, man.
Holy crap.
We are almost to 100 episodes. We're almost to the 2-year anniversary.
Wow.
Time's flying, man.
Y'all want to get us gifts? I'm gonna set up a GoFundMe page for Jeremy and for the show's birthday. Y'all can PayPal us.
Yeah, I'll send you out the Cash App, the Venmo username.
Yeah,
or you can just go to ProWrestlingTees.com/socialsuplex, buy a bunch of Keeping It Strong Style shirts.
Y'all can DM me, slide my DMs. We'll set something up.
All right, man. But let's get jumped into this thing. We got a question from Reddit user Jar of Peanuts. He says, "Are you guys experiencing any G1 withdrawal? So much good wrestling and discussion in such a short amount of time, only to abruptly stop once the G1 finishes."
Nah.
I don't know, but I am experiencing a little bit of G1 withdrawal, man. I was talking with Imp on his show last week, and just, I'm so used to, rushing home from work, being so excited to watch, all these great matches, and now, man, it's like, it's gone.
Yeah, the only thing I feel like, I'm glad it's over, because there was so much wrestling going on. There was so much good wrestling that it was hard for me to even keep tabs on what was happening. Like it feels like Dallas was like half a year ago, but it was not.
Right, yeah. It was literally like a month and a week, like 5 weeks ago.
Jeez. So, yeah, it was hard to like keep up. The one thing I always feel like, and this is something that I actually feel like, I feel bad. I feel like I could have had better coverage of what we were saying, what we were doing. That's the only thing. Like, and it's funny. Our shows have been doing phenomenal numbers.
Man. We broke our Wrestle Kingdom number with the G1 preview episode.
Did we?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
I think we're on track for the finals to like maybe do the same thing.
Yeah, last week's episode
that's crazy.
It's getting very near to the G1 preview episode and the Wrestle Kingdom 13 episode.
Yeah, so we appreciate you guys for that, but I also feel like I'm like, dang, it's really hard to have good, concise coverage over such a huge tournament. So I mean, this kind of like week off has been nice a little bit. Yeah. For me, anyways.
I mean, I miss the good wrestling, but it is kind of good to have kind of something kind of spaced out a little bit. But I do miss like all the back-to-back matches and just the excitement of coming home and avoiding spoilers and watching G1.
Nah. I love it when it's happening, and I'm glad when it's over.
But all right, man, let's talk about Super J Cup. The Super J Cup is coming up this weekend. And so I thought it'd be good to just kind of talk about a little bit about the Super J Cup history. I know a lot of we have some listeners that are probably new to New Japan or not exactly familiar with the Super J Cup. And I know in the past we had a question, what's the difference between Super J Cup and Best of the Super Junior? So, I think it's a good time to talk about all that kind of stuff right now. Super J Cup is something that started in 1994. It was the brainchild of Jushin Thunder Liger. The first Super J Cup was produced by New Japan Pro Wrestling. And, this was, Liger's idea to just, get some shine on some of the young, up-and-coming junior heavyweights.
Yeah, you want to know who actually inspired Liger to do the Super J Cup?
Who was it?
His wife.
Really?
Yeah, you know why?
Why?
She likes Super Delphin. She was like a really big Super Delphin mark. And she was like, wouldn't it be a cool idea if you could wrestle like Super Delphin and some of these other guys from all these other companies? And that's what kind of inspired like Liger to be like the organizer and the driving force behind that whole wave of, interpromotional junior lightweight cooperation in the like early to mid 90s going into the 2000s for sure.
Yeah, and so that first tournament and pretty much majority of the tournaments was all about bringing in wrestlers from other promotions as well. So the first one you had, obviously, it was promoted by New Japan. So you also had Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling. You had Wrestling Association R, Michinoku Pro Wrestling,
War Style,
CMLL, and the Social Progress Wrestling Federation.
Oh man, Social Progress. I'm trying to remember like who that even was. I'm not totally sure.
Masayoshi Motagi. I'm not sure if I'm saying.
Oh man,
that.
You know what? I don't know who that. Like I've seen the Super J Cup '94, so but I'm blanking on that one. So I mean, for those who don't know, probably the most influential single elimination tournament in history, the one that resonates and maybe had the most effect on the wrestling industry and business, is Super J Cup 1994, just because the time that it came around, the style of wrestling that it popularized, and the method for which it was delivered. It was delivered at a time when tape trading was so heavily prevalent, and Japan was like the focal point of the majority of overseas tape trading, and all these big stars that became big deals later, like Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Taka Michinoku, Dean Malenko, Otani, Delphin, Negro Casas, Ricky Fuji, Hayabusa, Liger. I mean, El Samurai, like Grace Sasuke. This is literally like a murderer's row of the greatest junior heavyweights of that time, and most of their names and exposure to the northern audience in most cases was brought about through this tape. And like you talk to most older fans who are into Japanese pro wrestling, for the majority of them, it's like one of two things were how they got into Japanese pro wrestling. It's either J Cup 94 or those IWA death matches with Cactus Jack and Terry Funk. Those are like the two most, and like FMW to a lesser degree, like those are the two main things that brought people, to the dance. So this is a highly, highly and heavily influential. I would say in recent times, the CWC is almost as influential.
The closest thing, yeah. And, and this thing was such a great success. And, it drew a sold-out crowd of 11,500 at the Sumo Hall.
We were watching that match the other night. I think I said, is that Sumo Hall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It drew a gross revenue of $570,000 US dollars. Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer, he called it, the most incredible single night of wrestling ever. And we talked about, the free match of the week last week was the final match with Wild Pegasus, a.k.a. Chris Benoit, and the Great Sasuke, a.k.a. Black Ninja.
We watched that match, and that was a match you hadn't seen up to that point, right?
Right.
It's funny. I think I did try to make you and Rich watch it a long time ago, one of those nights where we were like out, and we're like coming back down. And
yeah,
I think you guys both fell asleep the first time we tried to watch it. But so I was nervous when you were watching it, because I always like talk about how amazing that match is, but it's an older, I mean, even though it's fast-paced junior style, it's not the fast-paced junior style of 2019.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's definitely a slower pace than what we're...
It's a little bit slower pace, but it still had great action. It innovative moves for that time period. It was an awesome match. I mean, the first time watching it, I was marking out for it, man. It was a great match.
No, yeah, I should have given you more credit, but I was just nervous. I was like, I hope he likes this. I hope I don't look like a fool saying how great it is. But that match is there, and you know what? That's like one of the best matches of the tournament. But like diehards probably name a couple other matches like during that same tournament that might even be better. 94 is incredible.
Yeah, so that tournament was just, and that final was incredible. I do have a recommended match of the week. I didn't want to pick that match because we talked about it being the free match last week, but you should definitely go out of your way and watch Super J Cup 94 and watch that final with Wild Pegasus and the Great Sasuke. Later on in the show, I will have another Super J Cup recommended match for you to tack along with that one. But like we mentioned, 94, New Japan hosted it while Pegasus was the winner. And then in 95, it was hosted by Wrestle Association R, which Jushin Thunder Liger won. And then we wouldn't see another Super J Cup until the year 2000, which was hosted by Michinoku Pro, which was also won by Jushin Thunder Liger. And then it would be another 4 years we saw one, and it was hosted by Osaka Pro, which was won by Marufuji. And then 5 years later, 2009, New Japan Pro Wrestling hosted the tournament again, also won by Marufuji. And then in 2016 was the last Super J Cup, once again hosted by New Japan Pro Wrestling, and the winner was Kushida.
Yeah, so a couple quick thoughts on all this. So between 94 and 95, one thing that kind of goes in conjunction, people get it confused a bit, but the crowning of the J Crown, which was the unifying of 8 different cruiserweight / junior heavyweight titles, that tournament also kind of goes hand in hand with the history and the cooperation between all those companies in 95. The 95 tournament also is very famous because back in the day, you used to be able to get the 94 tournament and the 95 tournament together in conjunction as like a box set. And one of the matches that were highlighted, maybe the match of the night, and it's not a tournament match, non-tournament match, was Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Psychosis. And that was like, yeah, they'd been doing it in Mexico, but when they did it in War, that's what prompted them to bring them to ECW and then over to WCW, and then obviously Rey blowing up in the States. So that's a highly influential tournament as well. And then as you start getting to the other ones in the 2000s, like it does seem to be that though the tournaments are still very good, they kind of lose a bit of their grandeur. The talent is still great, but the star power kind of diminishes. But the one in 2009 specifically was one of the last ones where they had a large cooperation between a lot of like outside groups. And actually, I would actually say that's probably even less than maybe the 2004 one. But Prince Devitt, that one in 2009, that was like his coming out party. And he ends up in that final with Marufuji. And that's a match, if you haven't seen that, you really should, and you like Prince Devitt, you should really go out of your way to watch that. But that was like his coming out party, was that 2009 one. And for the last 3 tournaments, that's kind of what or the last 2, it's kind of been like based around establishing a guy. Like in 2009, it was Devitt. In 2016, it was Kushida. Like that whole tournament is completely about establishing Kushida.
Right, and he was the IWGP Junior Champion going into that tournament also.
Yeah.
So that whole year was, building up Kushida and just making him one of the greatest modern junior heavyweights.
Yeah, and that one kind of took a bit of criticism because it's almost exclusively like, and this one's not going to be different, but they're essentially New Japan tournaments as opposed to interpromotional tournaments that might feature a couple guys from other groups. And that's kind of what this one in here in the next few weeks that's coming up is. But that being said, I don't want to like crap on the one that's happening because the lineup is one of the best J Cup lineups in years, like in a very, very long time. This actually, I would say it's one of the best like J Cup lineups ever, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. I think people are sleeping on this a little bit.
I think they are. So we had a question from our good old buddy Karen at Karen Nerds Out on Twitter, and she asked if we're going to any of the Super J Cup shows. Unfortunately, Karen, we are not going to any of the Super J Cup shows. We're going to have to catch them here at the dojo whenever they air on New Japan World. I think for I don't really have any wrestling trips planned for the remainder of the year.
Karen, next time you're going to the Super J Cup, invite us.
Oh man,
no, I'm just playing. Yo, you don't live far from us. Come catch a Largo Loop show with us.
Yeah, man, I'm sure. Yeah, Karen's always out with these shows, man. Yeah, we have to like
come to world famous Minreg Hall.
Yeah, we got to sync
Madison
up.
Square Garden of the Largo Loop.
Yeah, we got to sync up and head out to a show together. All right, so for the rest of the questions, do you want to do our predictions first and then kind of jump into these Super J Cup questions?
I'm fine either way.
So yeah. Let's look at the bracket first, make our predictions, and then we could answer some of these questions that we got in from our.
So you want to book this whole thing out? Is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So the opening night is August 22nd in Seattle. So I'm looking here on the left side of the bracket. So on the top, the main event of night one is the dream match between Will Ospreay and the Amazing Red. Who you got on that one?
I've got Will Ospreay, and on top of that, I think there's a good possibility this is match of the night, just because the emotion behind it, the story. Amazing Red, like he's gonna deliver. Will's gonna let him not. He's not gonna let him not deliver. That's gonna be. It's got banger written all over it, and I think it's one of the most anticipated matches of the tournament for almost everybody.
Yeah, I'm also going with Will Ospreay. Clearly he's still the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Amazing Red is an outsider, and he's been planning on winding down his career. Actually, he's supposed to be retiring, but Will Ospreay got him out of retirement for this matchup here, and what I'm hoping this match kind of inspires him, lets him know he still has it, and maybe we can get a Best of Super Junior run next year with Amazing Red or some other some junior appearances from him in the company. So then also on August 22nd, we have first round action between Sho and the Bone Soldier Taiji Ishimori.
So are you surprised when you're looking at this bracket that they've got Sho and Ishimori as being in the exact same bracket field as Ospreay and Amazing Red?
I'm not surprised Taiji's there. I'm not really surprised Sho's there either. I am surprised that Sho and Taiji are facing off in the first round. That's almost a match that you could see later on in the second round or maybe in the semifinals. There's a couple of big matches that they do have here in this first round, including this Ospreay Red and this Sho and Taiji match here.
So here's the thing. It's not that I'm not surprised that it's in the first round, because they could do big matches in the first round, but I'm surprised that after doing two of these really big matches back to back, the winners are going head to head immediately.
Yeah.
So that's that actually is kind of surprising to me, especially with the implications regarding Ospreay being the junior champion at the same time. So that's a little bit of precarious booking to me. Who do we got here? I mean, Sho had that incredible early start to his best Super Juniors this past year, but Ishimori is one of the top guys in the entire, in the entire division, and I don't know.
I'm going with Taiji Ishimori to set up a Ospreay Ishimori match.
That makes the most sense to me. I would have to agree.
Especially coming out of Royal Quest, where we're going to have... Oh, actually, Royal Quest is after this. That's building up to Royal Quest. We're going to have Ospreay and Eagles against Ishimori and Phantasmo. So they're continuing that whole story there with Eagles joining Chaos. And I'm assuming that at some point we're going to get a junior tag title match with Ospreay and Eagles challenging Phantasmo and Ishimori, because the match at Royal Quest as of right now is a non-title match. So I think to kind of spark some fire with that rivalry, we're going to get Ospreay Ishimori here.
Feels like you're cheating, looking at the future cards to figure out what the winner is going to be here. You're like Kenny with his psychology book.
Yeah, psychology. Cheating. Yeah, man. So you agree with me, or are you going with Sho?
No, this is a Keepin It Strong Style cooperated bracket prediction.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I think Ishimori's got this.
All right. Also on night one in Seattle, we got Clark Connors taking on TJP.
This is really interesting to me for a couple reasons. They did something similar to this during the New Japan Cup, where it feels like sometimes they'll bring in outsiders and then put them against each other instead of against established New Japan guys. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of interesting. Now, they obviously know who TJ Perkins is. He is a dojo guy, but he hasn't wrestled in New Japan in years. Like, I don't know, 2009, like a decade. And Clark Connors is one of the LA Young Lions out of the dojo, but he hasn't had a singles match yet. So this is a very, very compelling match. I think the obvious easy answer is that TJ Perkins is established as a name and a guy, and Clark Connors is young lion. But the real question here is, I think it's just a very interesting. It's not even a question. I just think it's really interesting that they decided to put these two guys against each other instead of like a Taguchi or,
right,
a Yo or I don't know, like, a Bushi. That's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting matchup. I was really impressed with Connors during the undercard tags in the G1. Looked really great here. This should be a really great match. I'm a big TJP guy. I've always loved his matches and the way he wrestles. I think he's a great wrestler, and I'm excited to see him here in this tournament. And I think, this matchup is going to be designed to kind of get TJP over. I think, Connors will get his stuff in, but I think ultimately this match is about getting TJP over, getting the shine on him. And I think that TJP is going to advance to the second round.
You want a hot take?
Yeah.
TJP is going to win the match. Clark Connors is going to be the guy that's more over coming out of the match. He's going to be the guy that gets over in this match. And that's not a slight on TJP because we know how talented he is. And you and I are going to bat for him pretty often when other people are crapping on him.
Yeah.
But he hasn't wrestled in the New Japan House style for a long time, and he's a guy that's really good at making other guys look great, and Clark Connors already looks great. Clark Connors is going to look incredible in defeat in this match.
Yeah, and these young lions, they're hungry, and they want any chance to shine. So I can definitely see Connors being the guy that we talk about most after this match is over. So then on this night, we're going to have Robbie Eagles versus El Phantasmo. Now, this one kind of surprised me. This is a big first-round matchup.
That's a huge matchup.
Yeah, we saw, the turn in Southern Showdown, Eagles turning on Phantasmo and the Bullet Club to join Ospreay and Chaos. And like I mentioned, Ospreay and Eagles are teaming up against Phantasmo and Taiji at the Royal Quest show. So obviously they're going to continue that rivalry here for the remainder of the fall. But yeah, I'm surprised. This is a match I would expect in the second or even, once again, second or semifinals, leading, going into this thing. But
no, I like it. I like the idea that these guys have a history. They've got issues with one another. It's a match that's been building since before the G1. And the bookers say, nope, we're going to put it in the first round, run it. I don't want to have to wait for them to have to get through some other guys. I want them to come in fresh. I want them to sell their dispute and then move on in the tournament. And I think that, this is going to be good.
Yeah, and also I like that, having some of these, big first-round matches. Because, sometimes tournaments, they'll put, it's very clear who's going to win. And they'll put kind of like an easy setup in the first round. And you're like, oh, this is a typical, easy first-round match. I know who's going to win. But here, man, I think it could go either way here.
Yeah, I think it's a 50-50. I think I'm going to guess right now what I think your booking's going to be, and I'll say what I think it is. You think El Phantasmo is going to win?
Incorrect, sir.
Really? You think Robbie Eagles pulling up the upset?
I think Eagles is going to win because in Best of the Super Juniors, Phantasmo beat Eagles by cheating.
Oh, so you're a 50-50 booker now.
Yeah, I think Eagles is going to get the win back. He's going to beat Phantasmo clean, and then we're going to get Eagles and TJP in the second round. And because I have I feel like TJP and ELP are very similar characters. They're both kind of like these heel douchebag kind of characters.
I was literally about to be like douchebags.
Yeah, I don't like. Why would you do the kind of the same guy against each other around? I think you put heel TJP against babyface Eagles in that second round there.
Yeah. Who is this the best Robbie E that's out there? Robbie Eagles or Robbie E? Who you got?
Oh, Eagles. Eagles are way better than Robbie E or Robert Strauss, whatever his name is now.
I'm just playing. I'll agree with you, but I really could see Phantasmo picking up the win again just because they pushed this guy so heavily all year. But then again, they've got big plans for Robbie Eagles as well, so it's hard to say.
Let's just add more fuel to fire, and maybe ELP comes out later on in the tournament and screws them out of a match, something, continue to add fire to that Royal Quest match.
Oh, so now you're booking screw jobs. My God, you're
Westernization.
Just call you Vince McMahon right now. I'm gonna call you Junior.
Oh man. All right. So so based off that, we have Ospreay and Taiji going on to San Francisco, and then TJP and Robbie Eagles. So then moving on to the right side of the bracket, in that first night in Seattle, we're going to have Ryusuke Taguchi taking on Rich Latta's favorite wrestler, the Octopus Jonathan Gresham.
So this is one where I don't think it matters. This actually probably would be a pretty good match. I'm not expecting big match Taguchi or anything like that. Jonathan Gresham is a guy that's been very impressive all year, but they've slotted him in the exact same kind of slot that they had him in during Best Super Juniors, like a mid-card match with a mid-card guy. Even when he had big matches during the tournament, he never got a single main event. He always was slotted under 15 minutes. Most of his matches were like 11 minutes. They were solid. That's probably what this match with Taguchi will be. And Jonathan Gresham took a lot of losses. So if they want to put over Taguchi, which they're prone to do, they could. But I would like to see Jonathan Gresham pick up the win here. I think that him against Yo or Dragon Lee is a little bit more compelling to me. Plus, him being the ROH representative, like, throw them a little bit of a bone. Like,
right.
Give them something.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Gresham is going to win and needs to win here, especially after his Best of Super Junior. I think it'd be good to get some shine on him. And I think we will get big match Taguchi here, and it'll be one and done. So he can have his big match and lose, and then he'll be an undercard the rest of the 2 nights and just chill.
No, we're getting upper mid-card match Taguchi. It's not quite big match Taguchi.
Mid-card Taguchi.
Upper mid, sir. Fire mid Taguchi.
But yeah, I think Gresham's going to win that.
I'm going to agree. I hope so.
So then we have Yo taking on Dragon Lee.
I mean, Dragon Lee, right? Pretty easy, right?
Yeah, I think Dragon Lee is going to get this win here.
I mean, Dragon Lee is a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion from this past year.
Yeah, just came off the belt recently at Dominion.
He's the top star one of the top stars from CMLL in the company right now. I just couldn't really imagine Yo getting a big win in a single. It's different when it's a Super Junior. You can see upsets, but in a single elimination tournament, that usually tells you really what they think about most guys. There will be upsets in this tournament, so we could be looking like idiots a few weeks from now when Yo rolls this man up with some sort of crazy pinfall and pins him. But I'm thinking they're going Dragon Lee here, and we're going to get a CMLL ROH match. Yeah. Actually, well, I guess they're both ROH.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dragon Lee's he's contracted CMLL, but he has been making some ROH appearances recently.
Yeah, they jobbing him out to, to a freaking Dalton Castle and crap like that. My God.
Yeah. Very interesting. So we have both Roppongi 3K going out in the first round.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So the next up, we have Caristico taking on Bushi.
It's got to be Caristico, right?
Yeah, I'm also going Caristico. Caristico also representing CMLL. Caristico, very good wrestler.
This man ain't coming out here to do no job. To no Bushi. Come on.
Yeah, we've seen Caristico at the Fantastica Mania tour.
I seen him in WWE.
Right.
As Sin Cara.
That's right. He was the original Sin Cara, if you guys didn't realize that. Went back over to Mexico after things didn't work out up north. And so, yeah, his name was Caristico. And, I think he's very good in the lucha style. Obviously, he didn't really thrive under the sports entertainment WWE style. And he's been doing great in Mexico so far. And I think, yeah, you advance Caristico.
Just to be clear here, I think, and I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty positive Caristico is the most over star in CMLL. At least I'm not the biggest CMLL expert, but when I watch, nobody gets the pops he gets. And he is a future. Well, actually, is he already in the Hall of Fame?
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm pretty sure he is based off of his early 2000s runs. But yeah, I mean, it's funny how a run that the run he had in WWE, how that can diminish the impact and the like huge business that he did earlier in his career and all that.
I remember hearing about him before he signed with WWE and all the buzz he was getting. I would see a lot of clips of all the stuff he was doing, and then when he got signed, they made a huge deal of the signing. He went straight to the main roster and like had this whole gimmick for him. I'm like, all right, this is going to be awesome, and then things just didn't work out.
Yeah, Caristico's the biggest star from Mexico, and for those of you who don't know, he's the original Mystico. And Mystico is the biggest star of the 2000s in Mexico City. I mean, he was doing bigger business than any other wrestler in the world at a certain period of time. And it is crazy how, almost not exactly the same, but kind of there's similarities with his run in WWE to Kenta's somewhat.
Yeah.
And how, in the eyes of fans, it's almost sort of diminished him when he came back.
Right, and not only did he,
but they both still kind of carry that clout, like we were in WWE. Right. So it's kind of interesting.
And not only did he come back with diminished returns, I mean, he couldn't even get his name back because in the time he was gone, they had already established a new Mystico.
Yeah, so there's multiple Mysticos, and then he went to, I'm trying to remember all the. He's had 3 or 4 different names.
Because he went to AAA, right?
Yeah, and he was Mistez's.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now there's another Mistez's, and then there's another Mystico in CMLL, and then he's Caristico, and I think he had another name too. So yeah, it's kind of a crazy mess.
Yeah, so comes back, can't even get his name back, get his gimmick back.
But everyone knows. I mean, he's like L.A. Park. Everyone knows.
Right.
That's Mystico.
Right, that's the real one, yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised to see his inclusion here because he doesn't do Best Super Juniors and stuff like that. But this J Cup, that's a big name. It adds a lot of clout. And there's, oh my God, if Bushi beat him, I would really question.
Yeah. And, I believe the Ring of Honor CMLL War of the World is pretty soon after this. So he's probably was already going to be in the States anyway. So, just start off in Seattle and then fly over to wherever the Ring of Honor tour is going to start.
And then the final match of that block. And what's funny? This is kind of what I was pointing to in the beginning. Look at the first half of this block and then look at the second half of this block. The name value, at least the star power, it's not quite the same on this side.
Yeah.
But there's a heavy lucha influence on this side of the block, which might actually make for some pretty compelling matchups on this side.
Yeah.
But we've got Rocky Romero taking on Soberano Jr.
Yeah, this should be an interesting match. Rocky coming off that hot run from Best of Super Juniors. Soberano, we've been seeing him in the Fantastica Mania tour, and he was also in the Super Junior Tag League. He got a lot of criticism during the Super Junior Tag League in his performances here, and then he took a lot of L's in that tournament. And
I like Soberano Jr.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Remember, we saw him in the Fantastica Mania shows, and he was doing great.
He's so good. Yeah, that a match that people kind of forget about, the match with him and Cavernario this past year. I think that was still probably the match of Fantastica Mania tour. It really was awesome.
Yeah, it was really great. So yeah, I think this should end up being a great match. I'm going to go with Rocky Romero.
Yeah, I'm going Rocky.
Getting the big win here and advancing to the second round.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I think it's going to be good for Soberano Jr. because Rocky is a guy who has spent so much time in Mexico, so adept to that lucha libre style, and he's a really good New Japan opponent for Soberano Jr. They did a great job with that matchup, and I see Rocky going on to take on Caristico.
Nice. So we got Rocky and Caristico, and then we have Gresham against Dragon Lee. So
you know what's funny? Well, okay, yeah. I'm almost second-guessing Jonathan Gresham beating Taguchi, to be honest with you. Now I'm looking at the brackets, how it's going to play out. I'm a little bit thinking Taguchi might be the guy that they push forward because they just love to do that.
Yeah.
But I'll stick with you. I'll ride with you.
All right, so let's go back over to the other side of the block. So in San Francisco,
So round one is all one night.
Yeah.
Holy crap. How many matches is that?
There's 9 matches because there's also undercard matches.
Wow. That's awesome.
So then the next night will be San Francisco. So on the left side of the bracket, we've booked Will Ospreay versus Taiji Ishimori. Who you got there? Who would you put forward in that match?
That's really tough. I think like your knee-jerk reaction, what you want to say is Will Ospreay. But do you have him lose to Ishimori here to establish a future title shot and kind of push Ishimori as a push commodity and kind of try to replenish the junior division? Or do you give that clout to someone else either in the semi or main or in the finals? Or, I mean, who knows? They could just go all the way with Will Ospreay again. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that.
Yeah, this is such a tough one to go, think about because, it can go either way, and Taiji could beat Ospreay to set up a junior title match in the fall. We've got a lot of shows coming up with Destruction Tours and King of Pro Wrestling and Power Struggle. I don't know. I'm gonna go with big match Will. I'm gonna go with Ospreay advancing to Los Angeles.
Okay, I will go with Will Ospreay as well.
All right, so then also on San Francisco, we've booked TJP to take on Robbie Eagles.
So I got to tell you, the one match that I'm the most torn on still is Eagles and Phantasmo.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I think whoever wins out of them is beating TJ Perkins regardless.
Right.
And I see the semifinal matchup being Will Ospreay versus either Eagles or Phantasmo.
Right.
And there's a story to be told there.
Both guys.
For both guys either way. In a way, I think Phantasmo makes a little bit more sense, but from like a long-term booking perspective, but if you want to have like that really incredible, and both matches probably be incredible, but man, if you really want to deliver something special on that final night, Eagles and Ospreay might be the way you need to go.
Yeah, and that's exactly the booking I'm thinking. I'm thinking Eagles is going to beat TJP here in San Francisco, and then in Los Angeles, you'll get the big rematch of Ospreay and Eagles. Those guys killed it at Southern Showdown, and I think that would be great to kind of run it back again. And
third matches this year.
Yeah, and continue their story and also, their new like friendly rivalry.
Absolutely. So then after that, we booked it out for Gresham to be taking on Dragon Lee. Although, man, I'm kind of torn. I really think I should have gone to Gucci on that one. But
you know what? Let's go. You roll with me with Eagles on the left side. So
do you see why Taguchi makes more sense?
Yeah.
Because if you've got Caristico on the other side and Dragon Lee, Gresham is like the third outsider, and he's seen in my eyes as being a much more lower on the totem pole.
Yeah. So
and Taguchi's just a guy that they push. Like, for whatever reason, they just do. I think that they're going to go Dragon Lee Taguchi.
All right, so we'll go with Taguchi. So Taguchi, Dragon Lee.
Oh, man, I can already hear Rich. Rich is listening to this right now, and he's like, this man Josh with Taguchi.
Well, actually, he'll be happy because he had him beat Gresham.
Oh, that's right. Oh, okay. It's the one time he'll agree with me on Taguchi. I don't even like Taguchi. I just know, like, look at the history. Look at the adjective. But either way, I think Dragon Lee's got to beat him, right?
Yeah, I would have Dragon Lee. I would have had Dragon Lee beat Gresham. I would have had Dragon Lee beat Taguchi. So either or, it doesn't really matter. I think Dragon Lee will advance on to Los Angeles.
Okay.
Then on that bottom side of the block, we have Caristico against Rocky Romero in San Francisco.
My knee-jerk reaction is Caristico.
Yep, I would go Caristico too, and you booked that Lucha semifinals with Dragon Lee and Caristico.
That's a really big match to be giving away during the J-Cup. I hope they do that, but could they go Rocky?
They could. I mean, Rocky had an incredible run in Best of Super Juniors.
That's such a good Super Juniors.
To capitalize on that momentum and that run, you could do Rocky Dragon Lee and have Rocky have an awesome match with Dragon Lee in Los Angeles. But I really feel that it would be cool to do that Lucha match with Dragon Lee and Caristico. It's a big match. It's a fresh match to the New Japan audience and New Japan fans. I think it would be something different for this tournament. So you kind of have like a lucha style semifinal on this side.
That would also, think about this. This is an interesting thing, the way that we booked it out. Gaijin, and Gaijin. They spit hot fire. We have no Japanese talent in this entire thing. Is that the way that they're going to go, you think?
Maybe they're trying to keep spirit of, the original Super J Cup and having some outsiders kind of go forward. So,
but they always pushed a Japanese talent.
Right. Well,
whether it was like Sasuke or whoever, Liger, they're like, I'm almost inclined to think that there's gonna be some sort of upsets.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, looking at the field, the most likely Japanese talent that would be seen in the finals, in my opinion, would be Ishimori.
Right.
Which means he would have to beat Will Ospreay.
Right.
And I think you could easily do the booking that we did with Will with Ishimori.
Right. You could do Ishimori Eagles.
And Eagles, that's a possibility. I'm almost sitting back thinking, but if you look at it, I mean, how many Japanese talent are there? 4?
So you got Sho,
5.
Taiji, Taguchi. Who else?
Bushi and Roppongi 3K.
Yeah, 5, yeah.
Out of 15 guys? 16?
Yeah.
Wow. That's kind of telling. Like, the odds are you are going to end up without a Japanese talent in the end just because.
Right.
That's interesting. But I'll go with you. So right now we've got it Eagles and Ospreay, and then on the other side, Christico and Dragon Lee.
Yeah. So then Los Angeles, we got Ospreay and Eagles. Who would you put over there?
I almost think Ishimori should win this whole thing. When I'm looking at these names, I don't think it makes sense for most of them, except for maybe Eagles. Like, you could do Will. You could do Will for sure. But he just won the best of the Super Juniors. He's the champion. And they don't need to do what they did with Kushida all those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's already at that level, and it's almost like overkill to have him like run through the whole tournament again, unless they really anticipate keeping him at junior for a while.
Right. Well, I don't think he's going to win. So what I'm thinking is it's going to be Ospreay and Dragon Lee in the finals.
You think Dragon Lee's going to beat him?
Rematch from Dominion. Dragon Lee beats him to set up another match.
You could definitely do that. I'm just wondering, with Dragon Lee, this kind of tournament almost seems to be something where how much more time, because they had such an extended period of dates on him last year. Are we going to get the same thing next year? You know?
Right.
Are we getting a dome show with him? Like, is that what this is that what you're thinking it's leading to?
I don't know, because, the winner of this, there's not really a defined prize for what the winner gets besides a trophy. So I'm just thinking maybe he beats Ospreay here in this main event, and then you do Dragon Lee Ospreay, maybe King of Pro Wrestling, maybe Destruction or something like that.
No, King of Pro Wrestling is where you'd have to do that for sure.
And then Ospreay beats him again, and then that's it for Dragon Lee for the remainder of the year.
I'm looking forward. I'm thinking about who takes this belt off of Ospreay. I think you think Ospreay's holding it all the way to the dome.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, I think he is.
That's probably a good bet. I'm wondering though if Ishimori isn't the guy to do it.
To take the belt off of Ospreay or win the J Cup?
Both. Beat him in the bracket. Beat Robbie Eagles and go through to the finals and be like the top guy, because it's like, it's still a Japanese company and they do push Japanese talent.
Right.
I'm almost hesitant to say that he doesn't end up there. But Dragon Lee is a good way. Okay, I think Dragon Lee's for sure beating Christico.
Right.
I think, in my opinion, I think Dragon Lee's got to be the easy pick out of the second half of the block.
Yeah.
To go to the finals.
I think Robbie Eagles has a shot of going to the finals and winning also.
I think so too. I could see Eagles. I could see Phantasmo, and I could see Ishimori or Ospreay.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of big names on that second half. But I like that booking. So we're gonna say right now, Will Ospreay loses in the finals to Dragon Lee.
Yeah.
And he's gonna beat Robbie Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay. But on another note, I kind of think they might go Ishimori.
Well, hey, man, if you were right, you can come on here and...
Well, here's the thing. Phantasmo, though, is another guy that they push so heavily, and it's like he won the British J Cup.
Right.
They might just give him
But I think that's why it'd be compelling to have him get beat in the first round. Because he was pushed so hard, you're like, oh, clearly he's going to win, and then...
Well, I wouldn't like to see if Ishimori... Let's say, hypothetically, Ishimori did beat Will Ospreay. It would not make sense for Phantasmo to be going up against him.
Right.
And I don't think TJ Perkins is beating either Phantasmo or Eagles. Although we could be wrong. They could...
Yeah, maybe...
They do stuff like that.
Right, maybe TJP, this is their kind of, quote
Coming out
unquote,
party.
like audition for him.
Yeah.
And maybe, if they want to see how he does it, put him out far and then sign a contract.
They could do that.
Yep.
That top half is so stacked with so many guys. And the second half is stacked with talent, but most of those names you couldn't feasibly see winning the tournament. I think pretty much just Dragon Lee, really, for lots of reasons. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. This one's a little hard to predict.
Yeah.
So we're going Dragon Lee.
Yeah, Dragon Lee.
All right,
Your Super J Cup 2019 champion.
Keepin It Strong Style's official pick, Dragon Lee.
All right, so let's look at these questions here.
And the young boy picks Ishimori.
So Zach Porter, he said, which first round matches are you both looking forward to seeing other than Bill/Amazing Red? Which potential matchups would you like to see?
I think it's so weird that he calls Will Ospreay Bill.
Yeah. I think
Eagles and Phantasmo immediately comes to mind.
Yeah, I got Eagle and Phantasmo circled as another great first round match to look out for. I mean, we just talked about. I think Connors and TJP is the match people need to keep their eyes out for.
Real interesting, and then Sho and Ishimori. That whole half of the block, those first four matches right there are all incredible.
Yeah.
I think the other ones are also really good, but I think that's where you're gonna see the best matches of that side of the block, most likely.
Yeah. And then as far as other matches, I really love to see that Dragon Lee Caristico match in that semifinal match there, or that second round match.
Yep, that would be really good. If they do end up doing Dragon Lee and Jonathan Gresham, we've seen them a few times. That's always a great matchup.
Right, and they just recently wrestled on Ring of Honor. Dragon Lee beat him, and that was a pretty good match. So, yeah, that should be a good match.
I mean, Ospreay against Ishimori.
Yeah.
Ospreay against Eagles.
Especially now that Ishimori's had time to heal. He's back to 100%. I think Ishimori is going to do phenomenal in this tournament.
Ospreay against Phantasmo. Ospreay against Dragon Lee. Anyone against Ospreay, really.
Right. Question from Reddit user Nine Tails. Are we going to see Bullet Club shenanigans in the Super J Cup? It fit the G1 with Jay and Fale, but Ishimori and ELP don't seem the type to use outside interference, or at least to the extent that Gato and Jado get involved in G1 matches.
That's true, but Phantasmo had a lot of shenanigans in his matches.
Right. He cheats a lot by himself.
He cheats a lot by himself.
I don't think we'll see, Bullet Club interference from other people. I think he might try and find ways to bend and break the rules in his matches.
Yeah, he's gonna cheat for sure.
Next question from Twitter.
And Ishimori does cheat from time to time in his matches.
Yeah,
too.
Occasionally. Yeah. Next question from Twitter user @TweeterAintShit. He says, out of the newcomers in the Super J Cup, who do you see sticking around NJPW?
Oh, that's a great question. So, I mean, to be honest with you, well, let's just go through it. I mean, Amazing Red.
I think it's a slim chance. Honestly, I really think it depends on how the match goes, how he feels, and if he thinks he has one more run in him. But I'm gonna say no for right now. Then we got TJP.
Sorry, I got distracted. Someone in our group chat just sent something out that says Joe versus Cesaro. I'm like, Samoa Joe and Cesaro wrestling right now?
Yeah, in the first round of the King of the Ring.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't usually pay much attention to that, but I might need to see that.
Actually, the King of the Ring tournament, some of the first round matches look pretty good.
Well, we're marks for tournaments, obviously.
Yeah. But back to
I think Amazing Red's an easy no. Sorry.
Yeah. TJP, I think, is a yes.
I think that's a yes.
Yeah. I mean, he's not signed anywhere. He's been doing shows for Impact lately.
I think that's honestly the most likely yes.
Especially, being a former LA Dojo, from the original LA Dojo, and, having New Japan experience in the past, I think TJP could be a lock. And then...
I mean, we got Jonathan Gresham, but we kind of know the deal. He's an ROH guy.
Right. And then everybody else is CMLL.
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of... The reality is the only one who has a... Soberano Jr. and Christico are probably not going to be long-term guys here. And we know what the deal is with Dragon Lee. Like, if he is, we're going to get a similar run like we did this past year, which was great, but ultimately, he's not a New Japan guy.
Right. Next question from...
Great question, though.
Twitter follower at CroftyGirl23, our girl Lisa, who we met in Dallas. She says, "How excited are y'all for Red and Ospreay?"
Jeremy. What up, Lisa? Jeremy.
What?
You're the Amazing Red.
Oh, you're saying for me to answer the question?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm super excited for this, man.
Well, I want to say what's up to Lisa.
People have been throwing out the Amazing Red clips this past week, man, and just so great, man. I was watching TNA from the early days and saw this dude, Amazing Red, coming out here, doing the Code Reds, doing the infrareds, all the flip dives, the pescados, the diving shooting stars, all the craziness. So ahead of his time, an innovator of the game, a guy way ahead of his time. Like, if Amazing Red was like coming up in this era of wrestling, he would be, a top star in promotions all over the world. It's kind of a shame he never really got the top spot he really deserved. So I'm very excited to see him here, to have this great, dream match with Will Ospreay, and I'm hoping it kind of inspires him to go for one more run. Even if it's not with New Japan, I think he would be a guy that would be great for AEW.
You listed a lot of his great contributions to the wrestling industry, but you forgot his greatest contribution.
What's that?
The Monster, Crimson.
Oh my gosh. his brother, Crimson.
His brother, Crimson.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, he was kind of good. He used to do cravats.
Crimson was all right for a big dude.
You know what? I watched him. I didn't like, he was bad, but I was like, he's not that bad. People
Right.
act like he was real bad. I was like, he's got to look. I mean, don't let Junior see him. Make him champion and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really excited for this. I'm a mark for, these backstage, not backstage, but like stories that just kind of span, like, I'm a mark for a good story. And this one has a really great story. This is going to be the tearjerker. This is going to be the I'm sorry, I love you match of the tournament. And I don't know. We'll see what Red still has to give, what he's still made of. He looks like he's in phenomenal shape. That render that they've got of him, he looks jacked.
Yeah, he looks great.
Huge. Actually, I do wonder. That's the one thing. Amazing Red, to me, was always one of the smallest.
Yeah.
Guys, I wonder, even in today's quote unquote, biased against, they don't have a size bias. I still wonder if he even in his prime could get over with because of how small he was.
I mean, we got Marco Stunt out here getting over.
Not the same thing. That's not the same thing. Marco Stunt is not liked because he's a good wrestler. Like, that's an ironic thing. I hate Marco Stunt. Bro. I wish he'd get I wish he'd get code redded. Like, I can't stand Marco Stunt. That is not Josh Smith's pro wrestling, sir. But no, yeah, this match is probably going to be really, 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 really good. Yeah, super excited.
Next question from our boy Maserati. He said the G1 surprised a lot of people with its booking. Some of the brackets here look predictable, with Ospreay defeating Red, Taguchi defeating Gresham, and
Maserati agreed with me on Taguchi.
Romero defeating Soberano Jr.? Or would Gato allow some of the foreigner/non-contracted wrestlers to go over?
Well, TJ Perkins is going to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible. I'd be surprised if it was Red, though.
Yeah. Red is, out of all the guys in that first round, I think has the least percentage of moving forward.
The least, yeah. I mean, I could hypothetically see Soberano winning, or even, obviously, I think Christico's winning, and Gresham's also those are all possibilities. I would say they're more likely to lose, most of them, except Christico.
Right.
But Amazing Red is highly unlikely, in my opinion.
You know, I think we could get some upsets, like you said. You know, maybe Ishimori does get through and beats Ospreay in that second round. There's always potential for upsets in these tournaments.
Yep.
Next question from Muzza. He says, do you see any first-round shocks in the Super J Cup?
What's a Zachary Shiloh?
That's the next person's name who got mixed up in his second question.
Oh. Because the way it's written out.
You had to read the botch on air. I was just going to read the next question without acknowledging that I.
Yo, this is hilarious. Do you think the winner will get a Zachary Shiloh? The heck's a Zachary Shiloh? What is the winner? Oh, is the winner going to get an IWGP Junior title shot? Is that what he's asking?
At King of Pro Wrestling. So the first question is, do you see any first round shocks in the Super J Cup?
That's mad funny. Oh my God. Anyways, first round shocks. Show beating Ishimori would be a huge shock to me.
Yeah. I mean, Connors beating TJP would be a shock to me.
That's not happening.
That's not, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think the Eagles Phantasmo, either guy could
50-50.
Either guy could win, but it's gonna kind of be an upset either way because either guy should be going far in this tournament.
I wouldn't. That's no. Like Bushi beating Crisco would be a huge upset.
Yeah.
Soberano Jr. beating Rocky Romero would be a huge upset.
Yeah.
Yo beating Dragon Lee would be a gigantic upset. And most of them I say no.
Yeah. I think this is going to be pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
And the second part of his question, do you think the winner will get an IWGP Junior title shot at King of Pro Wrestling?
Yes.
Yeah, potentially.
Makes the most sense in the world.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, set up your junior title match right there. You don't have to do much going forward there. So next question from Zachary Shiloh on Twitter. He says, should Amazing Red versus Ospreay been saved as a semifinal or actual final?
Opening round match. It needed to be an opening round match. It shouldn't have been either of those things.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love Amazing Red, I would have loved to seen more than one Red match in this tournament. Probably the right thing to go. Since he's not contracted, there's probably no signs of him being there for the future. Have your big dream match, main event of night one, and then, send him home after that.
Yeah, to us, it's a very big deal to have Amazing Red in the tournament, and it's a win-win for New Japan because it brings an outsider with name value and some eyes on him into the fold. But, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to have Amazing Red beat another guy to progress in this tournament to go against Will Ospreay. You could do the whole nostalgia run, and that's fine. But he's not a New Japan guy, so that doesn't really make a lot of sense. And I think with it being a first round match, where is the first round taking place anyways?
First round taking place in Seattle.
Or
Tacoma, actually.
Isn't that sort of like an important place for Amazing Red anyways?
Yeah, in that Defy area.
Yeah, it's like the whole Defy deal. So I think that makes the most sense. It's probably going to be the main event that night. They're going to get the most time. They're going to get tons of eyes on them. And if this is his quote-unquote final match, which there's a good chance it will be, you don't want it to be a semifinal or a final. An opening match makes sense. Remember when we first heard this match was announced and I said it's going to be an opening round match?
Yeah.
I said that because of all these reasons. I think that they made the perfect choice to make it a first round match. And in all honesty, it is benefiting New Japan, but they are kind of doing Will Ospreay a favor even holding the match.
Right. Yeah. Will went to bat for getting Red in here and getting this match.
Yeah. And who knows? Like, Jeremy, you might be right. This might not be his final match. This might be the start of something. You know, we saw what happened with PCO this past couple of years.
And I mean, Red's only like 36, 37.
Yeah, he's not old.
Like,
I mean, in ring years, I guess he is, but he's not an old guy.
Right. Yeah. He can still go.
Yeah.
Next question from Rambone Slam Pig. Does the cooperation / co-promotion, excuse me, with the cooperation and co-promotion with Defy around the Super J Cup show signify a possible change in the Ring of Honor relationship?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It just happens to be that, you know, first show is in Seattle. That's the home of Defy. I just think they're just working with that promotion there and, you know, getting some of their guys on those shows.
Yeah, I mean, I think them working with, you know, regional independent scene companies is not anything close to working with Ring of Honor.
Right.
I'm pretty sure Ring of Honor works with regional independent scene indies. I think probably the real indication about their relationship with ROH is them taking all of their bookings.
Yeah,
selling out all their buildings.
Running their buildings, yeah.
That's the real indication. But no, that's a great question.
And then the last Super J Cup question comes from our boy Rich Latta. He says, can you guys rename the participants of this Super J Cup like that was in WCW vs. the World or World Tour? For example, Dragon Lee could be Komodo G, Bill Ocean Spray, etc.
Oh my God, I'm not good at this sort of thing, but this is like, I'm smiling because this is a hilarious like request.
Yeah, you know.
So you played those games, right?
Yeah, I think Amazing Red could be like Phenomenal Rojo.
Oh my God, that's funny. Phenomenal Rojo.
El Phantasmo could be the Phantom, maybe.
Yeah, the Phantom makes. Yeah, absolutely.
Bushi could just be, you know, Death Mask, since that's his nickname. Yeah, the Jet Black Death Mask.
Yo, Jeremy's like the ace of this game right now. Like, holy crap.
Let's see. Gresham. I guess maybe Johnny Octopus. I don't know.
Oh, actually, that's a great name. Yeah, absolutely.
I like the Komodo G that Rich came up with.
I think it's Gi.
Gi for Dragon Lee.
Yeah. Komodo Lee or Komodo Gi. Yeah.
Let's see, Rocky Romero.
They could just call him
Rock.
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. Dwayne Romero.
No, who's the other wrestler that he manages?
Showing you.
He could just be El Chico Luchador.
Oh, El Chico. Yeah. Chico.
El Chico Luchador. God, I'm not good at this, bro. Like,
see, Taiji Ishimori, he could be Skeleton, the Skeleton or Skeleton Man.
Oh yeah, but because Bone Soldier.
Yeah. Robbie Eagles. Maybe he could be the Birdman.
Bro, I'm terrible at this. I'm like literally trying to come up with like some names, and I'm like, what? God, I feel like I'm losing a round of a trivia game. Like, I'm getting smoked right now. It would take me a long time to do this.
Yeah,
I don't want to make everyone have to. Taguchi ass man.
There you go. I'm an ass man. Bam, bam.
I love to kick 'em. I love to stick 'em.
Oh my gosh.
Did you ever see that Being the Elite where they all sang that song together? It's hilarious. They love that song so much.
Yeah, it's classic wrestling theme, man.
Snow.
Oh man, yeah, I can't for TJP, I'm trying to think of something like video game related.
Yeah, I was thinking about when he used to do dabs.
Yeah. 8-bit dab man. 8-bit dabber.
I don't know.
the mega dabber.
Bro, I literally can't do this. I suck at this so bad. Like, this is one of my greatest failures on the air. Like, this sucks.
All right.
But this is hilarious. Like, I love this so much. I think you guys should hit us up with your guys' names.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, WCW versus the World or WCW NWO World Tour, these were games where they were incorporating Japanese pro wrestlers, but then they would change their names so that you didn't know that they were actually like using the real likenesses of different pro wrestlers. So they would just give them generic sounding pro wrestling names. So y'all do that for this tournament.
Yeah, hit us up at Keepin It Strong Style on Twitter with your suggestions.
The funny thing is, like, Rich came up with this, but like, he came up with names for all 16. He already has 16 names
loaded,
ready to go. And we don't even know what they are. It's hilarious.
All right, so now we have some off-topic questions.
I did have a question.
Yeah.
So what are the dates on this tournament again?
Yes, so the first round will be happening August 22nd in Tacoma, Washington. Then the second day will be August 24th in San Francisco. And then the finals will take place the next day, August 25th, Los Angeles.
So this is all taking place before next week's show, but we're not going to have been able to probably watch any of it.
Right.
That sucks.
I know.
And we can't even watch it on Fight TV because it's only live.
Right, yeah, it's not airing on Fight TV. So, yeah, it's going to be on tape delay. I don't think any of it will be up by the time we record next week.
We might need to hit up Karen. I think she's going to all the shows.
Yeah, kind of get a live report from her.
We might need that.
And real quick, I'm also just going to go through some of the other matches that are happening on night one. So the first match, there's going to be Carl Fredericks and Jushin Thunder Liger going up against Ren Narita and Shota Umino. And let's see. It looks like that's the only undercard match. Yep, that's the only undercard, and then the rest are tournament matches.
For the first night, that's the one with Liger?
Yep.
Nice.
So, yeah, and then everything else will be to be determined on the last night. I know Juice and Jay Robinson and Naito. I said Jay Robinson. I mean Jay White and Naito will be in action as well. So
next week we'll be giving our coverage of Royal Quest.
Yeah, we'll be doing Royal Quest preview.
Nice.
All right, so now we've got some off-topic questions, and then we'll jump into the news and the recommended match. So first comes from Reddit user Tiny Sausage Factory. If you had to fight a wrestler in real life, who would you choose? / who do you think you could beat? And who would be the wrestler you'd least like to fight?
Oh my God. If there was one wrestler that you'd like that you could fight, like that. Well, I would only fight someone that I thought I could beat.
Exactly. I'm not going to pick a fight with somebody I can't beat.
Gato?
Jado.
Man, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't want no smoke. Bro, like, if I got into a fight, I would just pull guard. And that's all I would do. I would just hold them. I would just pull guard and hold them and be like, it's not worth it, brother. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like a lot of the New Japan guys I wouldn't really want to mess with. Anybody, really.
God, think about it. Shooter would fuck you up.
And I even think of like guys like Bushi. He'll shoot like mist in your face.
I was like, Liger? Nah.
You try and fight Yano, that man's going to tape you up, low blow you.
Yeah, I don't think I want to fight anybody.
I fight Marco Stunt.
Oh, I'd kick the crap out of him. Oh my God. Oh, so it doesn't have to be did he say
he didn't specify, he said any wrestler.
I know for a fact I could beat up Joey Janela.
Oh my God.
That man can't fight. Like,
yeah, we've seen the clips.
We've seen the clips. I guarantee you, bro.
Yo, I'd fight Enzo.
I wouldn't fight Enzo. I would not fight Enzo.
I'll take that man down, bro. Shoot on that man.
Midnight Ride?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I kind of like Joey Janela, but if it came down to it,
things go south.
Yeah, I would work him, bro. Throw my jab. Muay Thai knees, hit him with the Judas effect.
Yeah, I
over.
As far as I would least like to fight, I would not want to fight Suzuki. I would not want to fight Ishii. Pretty much anybody that's been a former never champion, I want no smoke.
Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah, Lance Archer.
Oh my God.
Shingo.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, no smoke with any of those dudes.
I'm even thinking about like almost everybody.
Yeah.
Almost everybody.
Next question comes from our boy Sir Sam. He said, what is the percentage chance Suzuki screws up everyone's plans and beats Okada for the IWGP title? I kind of want him to win just to add some chaos to the title scene that feels a little predictable for the next few months.
I'd put it less than 5%.
I would go too. I think, to me, it seems like a clear, easy title win for Okada.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you could do that, but I mean, I understand where you're coming from, Sir Sam, but then what happens? Because it's like, okay, well, are we going to hot shot the most prestigious championship in all of pro wrestling, onto somebody else in October at King of Pro Wrestling? Or are we going to keep it on Suzuki all the way to the Dome? You think Minoru Suzuki is going to the Dome with the title? Like, come on, it's not happening.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, but it's like there's a reason that this title is so prestigious, and it's because they don't do bullshit with it. And that would kind of, unless they had some immaculate storyline, that would kind of be bullshit in a way.
Yeah. Next question comes from Reddit user Asai Yojimbo. He says, I asked a Tiger Mask question a while back and Josh was gone. When
Excursion.
When the current Tiger Mask retires, who takes his place and why? Does he stick with the existing interpretation of the gimmick as a traditional approach, or should the new Tiger Mask be a contemporary take on that character?
Well, that's a really interesting question because no one seems to have a definitive answer about who really owns the rights to the Tiger Mask gimmick. The original Tiger Mask, which is, oh my God, why do I forget names on the, bro, this is like last week when I forgot Kazushi Sakuraba's name on the air, and that, bro, I was pissed at myself for doing that. Who's the original Tiger Mask?
His real name is like blanking for me right now also.
He freaking started Shudo.
Everybody's like yelling at their...
No, a lot of people are listening. They don't know either. Satoru Sayama. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm an idiot. Anyways, so Sayama has licensed and used the Tiger Mask gimmick and name for other wrestlers over the past few years. The other thing, too, is Tiger Mask 4, the current Tiger Mask, I believe comes from Michinoku Pro originally and was trained by Sayama, did not gain that gimmick or name through any particular company like New Japan or All Japan. It was years later after the fact that he became a New Japan mainstay. That being the case, though, in the past few years, New Japan had the Tiger Mask W anime. They licensed that gimmick. They did merch. They sold stuff. So I'm not totally sure who has real ownership and rights over it. Sayama has actually appointed the Tiger Mask 5 to Manoa Man. I forget Manoa Man's real fight name. He's an MMA fighter, and he, for a short period of time, was also a Tiger Mask. Yeah, Ikuhisa Manoa, also known as Manoa Man, who's like a prolific MMA fighter. He was Tiger Mask 5. So there's already been another Tiger Mask, and there have also been some other one-shots and off-shots that have had the Tiger Mask gimmick.
Right. In most recent years, we had Tiger Mask W, that new Tiger Mask anime, which Kota Ibushi played Tiger Mask W, and you had the arch nemesis of Tiger the Dark that was played by ACH.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's really up to New Japan at all, whether they can assign someone as a new Tiger Mask or even the direction of a character like that, because I think Tiger Mask W is an actual licensed thing in and of itself, separate from Tiger Mask. I think that Sayama has the rights to it. I could be wrong, but I feel pretty confident that that's the case, but I don't know for sure. The other thing too is like, I think every single person who's ever done the gimmick has donned their own interpretation and their own mystique about it. The funny thing is that Tiger Mask 4, the current Tiger Mask, is the only one who really reverted back to the roots of Sayama's interpretation of the character. And so, because Koji Kanemoto didn't do that, neither did Mizawa. They kind of did their own version of it. So, if someone else took over the gimmick, I think they could go either way, really, if they wanted to. But I don't know who should take over the character or if that will even happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So next question comes from Reddit user Bravo Tango Zulu. It says, since Naito didn't win the G1, will Naito main event one of the nights of Wrestle Kingdom defending his white belt? The white belt has main evented Wrestle Kingdom in the past, and it would tie in with Naito's story, considering the last time it main evented, it took Naito's spot. If he does, it would likely be against Jay White. Jay is likely to have a spot and has earned his championship match by beating Naito. The problem would be that means both nights will be main evented by matches we saw in the G1.
So are we ready to have a discussion about Naito? Is that the point in this podcast that we've gotten to?
I guess so.
Okay. So we still have some grave reservations about this whole thing that's moving forward. If Naito and Okada are done, then why are they protecting that match? Why did they protect it for over almost 2 years now?
Right.
That is the one thing that we're sitting here like, what's happening?
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot of people have been throwing out theories and scenarios of a mini tournament that could happen. On night one, you have Okada, Ibushi, and Naito and Jay White. And then those two winners will face each other on the second night, both belts on the line. So you could have Okada beat Ibushi and Naito beat Jay, and then you do Okada Naito the second night for both belts. You could have Ibushi versus Naito for both belts the second night. I've been seeing a lot of people kind of fantasy booking and throwing that scenario out there.
Right. Well, over the past year, almost a year ago, actually over a year ago, I remember when they were doing those New Japan World interviews. They were called like WrestleLand interviews with the wrestlers.
Oh, yeah, the Wonderland.
The Wonderland. They stopped doing those. But I remember one of the first ones was Tanahashi was talking about his goals for the year, and he said he wanted to be the IC champion and the IWGP champion, and that he wanted to carry both belts and be the champion of the white and the black. Unite this country, heal us from this oppression.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. But he was the first person I ever saw actually mention that. And then he was gone and got injured and all that sort of stuff. And then Naito kind of brought it back up. And it kind of made me wonder when Naito started saying it, I was like, was that what they were going to do with Tanahashi before? And then they kind of had to abandon it? Because no one talks about that, but I remember that interview very clearly. That was the first time I ever heard it. And then obviously the whole storyline with Naito. And now after winning the G1, Ibushi magically has the same statement. Now, we've talked about this before. Guys, when they're doing these interviews, sometimes just say whatever they want to say.
Right. They shoot from the hip.
They shoot. They're shooting partner. So, this could literally be nothing. It could literally just be these guys having no direction. Just go out there and say some cool stuff. I want to be double champion. Oh, that's great. Never going to happen. But, the fact that the title is still on Naito and he didn't win the G1 and they've been protecting the Okada match for so long, this just puts them in a kind of a precarious situation. I actually really like the idea of a mini tournament. And there are some appealing reasons why that might work out well, because let's say hypothetically you did do that, it keeps your four of your biggest guys in the mix.
Right.
Jay White, Naito, Ibushi, and Okada. And you can have a double headliner with two on the first night. You would have a double headliner with two matches that he's absolutely right. We got both of those in the G1.
Right.
But now with them being repeat matches, they're not just title matches, they're also eliminators for the main event of the second night. So there's an added emphasis. So it elevates the importance of those matches. And then at that point, you've paid off the promise to Ibushi, giving him a main event at Wrestle Kingdom for the title. Whether he wins or not, I don't know. And then you also keep your other two big stars in play, and you don't make the IC title feel undermined. Now, I think fans might be setting themselves up for a heartbreak.
Right. People are trying to work out scenarios for Naito to get in this main event.
Yeah, I think that's almost, sometimes the easiest route is the most likely and logical, and this seems a little convoluted. But with the only reason I'm a little inclined to think that it's possible is because what he said. We already saw these matches. We don't know who the real challenger will even be for Naito's belt to begin with, or if he'll even be champion come Wrestle Kingdom time.
Right.
But if he was, that this kind of does make sense. And the one reason I'm kind of inclined to think that maybe this is a possibility is just because the two Tokyo Dome nights.
Right, yeah. The second night throws a whole wrench in everything. And, doing the tournament thing, you'll have a IWGP title match on January 4th, traditionally Okada Ibushi, but then you follow with that big title match on the second night.
And it gives you a compelling reason. Another reason I think it's a good idea, it gives you a compelling reason to have two title matches on two Dome shows consecutively. Without some sort of mini tournament like this, there's not really a good reason for why Okada, considering he'll probably be champion, should even defend the belt twice in a row. If they don't do something like this, my opinion is have him headline one night and have someone else headline the other night.
Right.
That's the better way to go.
Yeah.
But I kind of like this idea. And also, it's not uncommon for New Japan to have done things like this. There have been many times where they've done mini tournaments surrounding the IWGP title in one night or two night scenarios. This wouldn't be the first time they've ever done that. So that's another reason why I'm thinking that is a possibility. And it basically just keeps everybody in play in the mix and gives them very important matches on those final nights. That's a very smart way to go. I don't know that they're actually doing this.
Right, yeah. I mean, it would be great if it happens, but once again, it's kind of one of those things like, is it really going to happen? Are we trying to put our hopes and dreams in this basket, hoping that it comes true, and then January 4th rolls around and it doesn't? But again, like we said, that one key is the Okada Naito match. Like, New Japan protects matches for a reason. And, I mean, a lot of people have been also saying, maybe they hold off until Dominion, because Osaka Joe Hall next year, and you have Naito win it there. But to me, that match needs to happen at the Dome, and Naito beating Okada.
One other thing, though, one thing that does give me pause. This match is so quote-unquote protected, right?
Right.
Do you protect it all this time to just give it away as a possible match, but not an announced match ahead of time?
Good point.
I mean, from a booking standpoint, the story's phenomenal.
Yeah.
The story's great. Naito was out. He defended his belt. The whole history between the two of them and the IC title and Wrestle Kingdom, all that surrounding that is great. And then if he does end up redeeming himself and facing Okada, whether he beats Okada or not, that's besides the point. That's a fantastic story from like a fan perspective. From a business perspective, I don't know if you sell out a second night at the Dome based on the possibility of maybe, hopefully, we get one of these matches.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just the fact that these four guys are big enough stars that the tournament itself is the draw and it doesn't matter either way. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that gives me pause to think that if this is so protected, don't you think you would announce it way ahead of time?
Yeah, that's a great point. You think you would announce it, have a month's promotion to sell out a Dome.
Although they could tip their hat and have them in multi-man matches, have them in promotional material, and really have people thinking from the get-go.
Right.
There's a good chance that this is what it will be anyways. Right. And then you kind of work your way around that. That's a possibility.
Right.
And this is something that I thought of and I haven't heard anyone else say. And I'm like, well, would you even do that if you couldn't really promote it?
Right.
Doesn't make sense. aside from that, I mean, we're already on the topic with Naito in the Dome. I mean, what are you thinking? Like, what do you see as his like trajectory from here on out?
I don't even know, because they're already teasing Jay White stuff. They're going to be in an undercard tag on Royal Quest.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I wanted to say. I'm not excited for that match.
That tag match.
No, I'm not excited for a potential Jay White and Naito match based off of what we just saw.
Right. And with them already kind of teasing undercard stuff this month, I'm like, is that a match that happens at Destruction? We got 3 Destruction shows. You got to have some title matches on those shows. So, I mean, do they go ahead and just do Jay White, Naito at one of the Destruction shows, and then both those guys have something else for the Dome? And if that's the way they go, I mean, I'm guessing Naito just walks in with the white strap and defends against somebody.
I also had this thought that, I guess the reason I kind of thought that Naito winning both belts. Okay, like you said, when did you say that some people have said he should win the belt going forward, like next year?
What do you mean?
You mentioned that there was a show that they needed to fill out next year.
Oh, Dominion.
Dominion?
Yeah.
That, to me, that'd be fine, and I'm guess that would probably appease some fans, but that really that's not the story. The story surrounding him and Okada has everything to do with Wrestle Kingdom, has everything to do with that IC belt and that IWGP belt, has everything to do with their feud.
Right. I mean, it would be poetic justice for him to win the IWGP title and retain the IC title at the Dome, beating Okada.
Well, the reason that, to me, that was something of importance, you go back to the 90s and you look at Muto, Chono, and Hashimoto. Hashimoto is considered like the champion of strong style, the guy that won all those different style fights. The stiff, like he, up until Nagata and Tanahashi, was the longest reigning, most defending, most accomplished champion, IWGP champion in the history of the company. That's kind of what he hung his hat on. And then you had Muto, who kind of even transcended that just from the fact that he's Muto. He's the great Muta. He's one of the biggest generational stars, attractions. And he had these, he won all these G1s, and he, was just probably the most transcendent star of the 3 of them in general. Then you look at Chono, who I think is a really good contemporary to what Naito has been in recent years. Super mega popular, but not quite the ace. The guy that's kind of been edged out by his contemporaries who are a little bit more accomplished than him, but always right in the mix.
Right.
And the reality is and the funny thing is also Chono has always called Naito the Dark Ace. And when he was in the company, he called himself the Dark Ace. Like the ace who's like just kind of in the shadow of the real true aces. That's kind of how he's always referred to Naito. You look at Naito's career, and in many ways it mimics Chono's in the sense that he's had so many accomplishments. You could never say this guy hasn't had a Hall of Fame career or been a pushed commodity or been given a bunch, because both of them were. But Chono only ever had one IWGP title reign, and it was very short, and that was it. Kind of the thing that made him seen as being so legendary in the contemporary eyes of his peers was he was Mr. August. He was Mr. G1. He won the G1 climax 5 different times. Nobody has the closest anybody's ever come to that is 3. And only 2 guys have done it. So he kind of had that one distinction that really separated him from Muto and Hashimoto. Mm-hmm. To me, given everything that we know about the story of Naito and his progression and this feud and everything, him winning both the IC and the IWGP title would be sort of in the same vein and line as Chono winning the G1 5 times. Like, this guy has held both of the major singles titles at the same time at the Dome, and no one has ever done that. That would be like the one thing he could like hang his hat on and kind of elevate him, because he's never gonna have an Okada or a Tanahashi title reign.
Right, that's the thing. Like, even if he wins the IWGP title, I'm sure he'll have a nice reign, but it won't be as long as Okada's last Monster title reign.
I don't even know if it's as long as Kenny's last reign.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that they're ever going to go that way with this guy. And you know what's funny? I don't know that. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter, so I don't know what the LIJ and Naito fans feel like. But to me, it doesn't seem like they're calling for him to do that. They're just calling for him to have this one moment in the Dome to establish him as the main guy.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I thought they were going to do. Seems like they're not going to, and it's fine. If it just never happens and we just say they passed the peak when they should have done it, then they passed the peak. It's fine. But that's why this seemed to make so much logical sense to me, and why I'm still a little hung up thinking, like, are they not going to do that? Because it seems to, like, write itself. It's right
There's
there.
so many story elements to pull from that.
And why is Ibushi mentioning the IC belt if they're not going that way? You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're like planting seeds.
I could see maybe a possibility, though, where the IC belt headlined one of those 2 nights as, like,
The secondary.
yeah, because what if like they do that as what? Okay, so what if they don't go the IWGP title route with Naito, but to kind of maybe pay him back, they have him headline over the IWGP title as a make good on what happened to him all those years ago at Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah.
I thought about that. That's a possibility. I don't know if they actually do that, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, they definitely could do that. So what would you do with the white belt if you have somebody walk away with both titles? You unify it or just separate defenses of both?
I don't think you unify it simply because it has too much value. It's a much more valuable belt based on the lineage and based on the perception with the New Japan audience. You kind of need that to sell out those secondary shows.
Yeah.
You know, that's a very prestigious secondary belt. So, no, I would probably have whoever's the champion should probably defend them separately, kind of like what they did with the when they unified those ROH and New Japan belts this past year. Well, not unified, but
double champs, yeah.
Have them drop it separately.
Yeah.
But then again, that is a precarious situation because do you want your IWGP champion
dropping the IC title?
If you were going to do that, I guess Naito's the guy. He's already taken so many losses. He's the one guy that could probably do that. Like, I don't think you want Okada dropping IC titles to guys or Ibushi.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this fall season and going on the road to the Dome, it's going to be very interesting to see how things play out. See how the briefcase defenses roll out, what Naito, I think the real key is what Naito does this fall is going to be a big picture of what's going to happen.
Is there anyone in particular that you'd like? Let's say they don't do any of this. Let's say they go the likely route, the traditional route, and Naito probably just ends up in a major match or a headlining match with the IC belt. Who would you like to see him face at Wrestle Kingdom? And we've got a long time to build it. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be,
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I would like it to be a fresh matchup against a big star.
But there really aren't any.
Right. They already blew the Mox match in the G1. He's already faced Jericho.
The only guy I can think of that would maybe be big enough name but they're not going to do this because they've already got a story for him probably. But Kenta's the one guy I could think of.
Yeah. Potentially.
I mean, you could do other great matches. You could do like a Shingo match.
Yeah, Shingo. You could do Ishii.
You could do you could do those matches. But I don't know. Do you headline with those? I guess Shingo would make sense, but that's an LIJ match.
Yeah.
Sonata. Like most of the guys that you might think about elevating to that level and headline with him are LIJ guys. I mean, would you go Juice? I don't know.
Yeah, not a headlining spot.
Yeah. Who from that A block would you put him up against? Kenta's the one guy that he hasn't really had a match with yet. They gave away a lot of
first-time matches.
First-time protected matches in the G1 this year. I guess you could do Mox if you were inclined to, but again,
could you do Ospreay? Ospreay Naito?
You could, if in very hypothetical, mystical world, but he would have to have had dropped the IWGP Junior title before then, and then be rebuilt up in enough time to be a viable contender. That match would actually probably be fantastic.
Ospreay Naito?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I think this mini tournament makes so much kind of like, in a way, I think some people look at it and think it's a little convoluted, but then again, I think to myself, what else are they going to do?
Right. And once again, it helps kind of build up that second dome show. Like, you're going to see, for the first time, somebody walk away with both titles.
Yep.
All right. Anything else on Naito?
No, those are my thoughts.
All right. Next question from Reddit user Eater of Bread. Given the expectation that WWE will soon move to tiered pricing on their network, with the likes of Evolve and Progress on the upper tier, would you be in favor of New Japan doing something similar? I personally wouldn't mind paying a bit extra for a version of New Japan World that included promotions like Rev Pro or even Stardom on top of what we get now, as long as the additional exposure didn't come at the cost of their autonomy.
Hell yeah.
Yes, I would be all in on a souped-up New Japan World with some tiers. Yeah, get you some Rev Pro on there. Get some Dragon Gate on there. All Japan.
Well, I don't think they would do Dragon Gate because Dragon Gate already has their own deal, and the reality is they wouldn't do most likely any other Puroresu company,
right?
Because they're in an exclusionary period of their company's history where they're not working with Noah, they're not working with All Japan, they're not working with Dragon Gate, they're not working with Big Japan or any of these companies. But having Red Pro on there, definitely a possibility. Having Stardom on there, definitely a possibility.
Yeah, Rossi Ogawa is all about making money, so you get Rossi and Harold May together in a room. I'm sure they'll cut a deal.
I mean, could you get like Defy or CMLL or? I mean, they already kind of have CMLL on there.
Yeah, they have CMLL on there, but
kinda.
But to get it like fully on there and like,
yeah,
that would be dope.
And like have Ring of Honor shows on there too. That would actually bolster their relationship quite a bit if they were able to do that.
Right.
What if? I'm just throwing this out there. I know people are probably sick of hearing this, but what if the quote-unquote AEW relationship took off and they were able to kind of use that as a streaming service for both companies?
That could be potential, but for some reason, I just feel like AEW would want to own. They would want to be the key, like the main owner of the streaming service, and have New Japan as a feature.
Well, they're using BR Live,
right? Yeah, they're on BR Live as part of the TNT deal.
But BR Live doesn't really. They're not archiving this stuff and offering it as a.
Well, Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen are on there.
Really?
You can rewatch those
for free right now.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering I'm just wondering what they do for streaming because major companies have to have streaming.
Right. And I think if you pay for a pay-per-view on BR, I think you can rewatch it.
That's cool.
I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'll have to double check on that, but
I know how to watch those. I don't need BR Live to watch those. I know how to do that.
Next question from Reddit user Dino Boy. He says, hypothetically, if Nakamura was to return, where would he fit into the modern New Japan landscape?
At the very tip top, he would be IWGP champion.
I don't think he'd be IWGP champion. I think
No, Jeremy. If Shinsuke Nakamura came back to New Japan, he'd be IWGP champion.
You think so?
I guarantee it. I guarantee. Bro, he's in WWE. He's like a star. He won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Yes. They would make him IWGP champion. Now, he wouldn't be the ace of the company, but he would come in and he would beat the champion. For sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he would still wind back up in the IC kind of lane.
Bro, they would make so much money. Bro, Nakamura shows up and beats Okada for the title.
That would be huge money.
and they're former Chaos stablemates and, best friends and all that. And yeah, he would be IWGP champion. There is literally no doubt in my mind. I would bet anything that he would be, for sure.
I mean, it'd be a great business move, but I don't know. I'm not as confident as you, but I could see them doing that.
Yeah, I mean, he's had so much time off. The cachet that he had with the fans before he left and what he would have on a return. And he'd be a monster heel probably in some regards to some of the fan base as well. Like, I think for sure he'd be IWGP champion, and like I have no doubt about it. Like, I'm not saying he would be, again, not the ace. I don't know how long that title reign would be. I don't know how long he could go at that level, because obviously the working style in New Japan is at a different level than it was before.
Right.
But his charisma, his name cachet, the WWE clout, and the money that could be made, he would be IWGP champion for sure.
Hey, I wouldn't mind.
They put the title on Tanahashi this past year
because he's the ace.
Yeah, they would put the title on they would definitely put the title on Nakamura again. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I'd be down for seeing that happen. Question from Zach Porter. Another question. He says, aside from his questions last week, thoughts on Ocean Spray calling Shingo a coward for staying heavyweight?
Oh, also, one other thing. They would probably need to do that. The amount of money they'd have to pay him to come back would probably entail him getting some sort of... They would probably have to promise him a title run to even get him to come back.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. This thing Zach does is really confusing to me. He's talking about Will Ospreay.
Yeah, he calls for our listeners, our friend Zach Porter, friend of the show. He's not a fan of Will Ospreay. He calls him Bill Ocean Spray.
And what did he say?
He said, what are our thoughts on Ospreay calling Shingo a coward for going heavyweight?
I don't know. Will says a lot of stupid stuff. I don't really have thoughts on it. Do you have a thought on it?
Well, initially I was saying that, before G1 ended, I thought that Ospreay and Shingo for the junior title could be a big match or a main event for one of the nights of the Dome.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's Ospreay kind of poking the bear there. Then Shingo decides to cut weight to beat Ospreay for kind of poking at him, or it's just one of those things where it's one of those shoot from the hips. Ospreay said this, but they're not going to pay it off, and Ospreay remains a junior and Shingo remains a heavyweight.
I think it's just Ospreay being petty because he wants to be a heavyweight, but they told him, nah, stay down in the juniors.
Also
getting out ahead of the story.
It could be a never open weight deal. Maybe somehow Shingo gets the never open weight title, and you do Shingo and Ospreay for the never title.
Then again, Ospreay would probably need to lose the junior title, get heated up. Although that's a match you could easily book right out the gate. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't really have thoughts on it. I would love to see him run it back. Obviously, one of the best matches of the year still. That's really saying something considering the G1 just passed. Yeah. And I still think it's like a top 5 match of the year.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love that match so much, and it's definitely going to be on our match of the year voting coming to the end of the year.
I'm hard pressed in my mind to think that anything in the G1 was actually better than that. Very, very few matches.
Same here, yeah.
Like that then that's not diminishing the G1. Like that match was so good.
For me, that's because up until then, my match of the year was still Kenny and Tanahashi.
Kenny Tanahashi is still my match of the year, but I don't know. I don't
know. I think
that Ibushi and I really loved the Ibushi and Jay White match.
For me, it would be it would be a toss up between Kenny and Tanahashi and Ospreay and Shingo. Would be the two that I'm stuck in between right now.
I think for a lot of people they feel that way. That's probably true.
Next question from at Tweeter Ain't Shit says, can you guys see Ibushi beating Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, then get his short title reign that first champs usually get, then drop it to Naito at an Osaka show? Because I think Okada is due for a G1-1, and it makes sense at Wrestle Kingdom 15, Naito defends against Okada.
I guess you could do that. I kind of feel like if you're gonna put the thing, okay, how do I put this? Ibushi's not everybody else. Ibushi is not like a young first-time guy that they put the title on him.
He's not Jay White.
Yeah. He's not an unestablished, unknown commodity. I think once you put the belt on him, you go with him.
Right.
You really go with him.
You give him a run.
You give him a real run because he's not at that level where he's already at that level where most of those guys are trying to get to when they get the belt and they kind of get their first run and they get their feet wet and Ibushi's been past that level for years and years and years now already. So that's not where he's at. Like, he doesn't need that kind of run. At this point, he needs a legacy-defining, legacy-building IWGP run that keeps him at that championship title level for years to come. That's where he is at. So I would say no. I don't really see that. Also, I guess if you wanted to shoehorn Naito back into a feud with Okada by Wrestle Kingdom 15, that's a way you could do it. But the reality is, this was the year. If you're not going to do it this year, it does not make sense to me when you've got Jay White, Ibushi,
Ospreay, Shingo,
Jay White,
Sonata.
Sonata. I meant Juice Robinson. All these guys are Kenta. You have so many heavy hitters, so many great wrestlers in this company. It's hard for me to imagine that you do that again.
And the story is Naito beating Okada as a challenger.
Yeah, it's not him being the champ and then defending against Okada, really. Right. Although I don't think he's wrong. I think Okada could hypothetically be due for a G1. Although, we've seen a couple guys get multiple G1 wins in recent years, and it's not unheard of, but it's also a lot rarer than I think people realize, and I think it's fine to go with other people for G1s in the future.
Right. And I mean, with Okada having that monster title reign, that's going to define his legacy. He doesn't need.
I think he's already won it twice. I don't think he needs a third one necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do that, and then he'll be tied with Tenzan and Tanahashi at that point. But why give it to him when you could give it to Shingo?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Give it to Ishii.
Oh my God. That's another name that I didn't even list, bro. Oh my God, yeah. So it's hard for me to imagine that they're going to go give a prolonged, put the title on Ibushi to have him drop it to Naito to give Naito a prolonged title reign. That makes no sense to me. That'd be terrible booking.
That seems some bad booking.
That'd be bad booking.
Seems like some McMahonism.
No, that seems like some LIJ-ism. That's some Naito fan stuff. I don't see that.
Next question from Reddit user Jar of Peanuts. What did you guys think of UFC 241? Do you think Daniel Cormier will do anything in the world of pro wrestling?
Okay, I watched this show that night. You didn't watch it, right?
I did not. I've only seen clips of the Cormier and Stipe. My
God, guys, if I had time to sit here and talk to you about my night Saturday night after I left the brew bus, we'd be here for a long time. I had a crazy day Saturday, but come hell or high water, I ended up being able to watch UFC 241, one of the best shows of the entire year. We're not really an MMA podcast, although those of you who might know, I'm a huge MMA mark. I'll keep my thoughts real short. One of the best shows of the entire year. 3 fantastic wars back to back. I was just enthralled with each and every single fight. If you haven't seen, go out of your way. Paulo Costa versus Yoel Romero, probably the fight of the night. I don't even know. I actually kind of thought Romero possibly won, but yeah, that fight was just violence personified. And then Anthony Pettis versus Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz came back after a 3-year layoff and put hands on that man. That fight was freaking crazy. And then the main event, DC probably should have beat. I actually predicted Stipe to win by knockout, and he did, but he probably shouldn't have. DC probably should have took this man down and ground and pounded
Right, we
him.
were talking about that yesterday.
He stood in front of him.
Yeah, he abandoned the game plan of trying to take him down and ride him out, decided he wanted to try and knock him out, stood in front of him for 4 rounds. And
the crazy thing was he was winning. He won the first 2 rounds for sure. The third round was very close, but he probably won that as well. Although I think I had him up 2 rounds to 1. And then in the 4th round, he just gassed. Stipe started hitting him with big left hooks. They were like left uppercut, like we call them like undercuts to the ribs. And you just saw the life go out of out of DC, and then DC got caught, and Stipe put him out, and yeah, it was sad. I don't know where DC goes from that. As far as the world of wrestling, he loves pro wrestling.
Yeah, he's a huge wrestling mark. He loves wrestling. He loves WWE. I could easily see them bringing him in for one of those celebrity type of matches at a WrestleMania or at a big show.
I'd actually be surprised at that, to be honest. Although, I mean, Kane's wrestling, so anything's possible.
Right.
But I don't think that's very likely. I think what's really likely is him having some sort of role, and he's such a huge mark that, like, I wouldn't be surprised for him to see him doing like an analyst job or a
broadcaster role
or something like that.
With SmackDown moving to Fox, maybe
they wanted him, but I don't think that's happening now. Yeah. Because what's it called? UFC is on ESPN, and that's kind of a conflict of interest. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's not happening. But I could easily see him having a role in pro wrestling.
Yeah, definitely.
If you guys are MMA fans or just casuals, I'm telling you, this was the MMA pay-per-view of the year. The top 3 matches on the card, go out of your way. You should watch all 3 of them. They were excellent.
Next question from Twitter follower at JazzKeegan13 asks for our favorite Power Ranger series.
Easy. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the original.
Yeah, Mighty Morphin, man, that was it, man. That was my favorite, the original. I mean, I liked Zeo and Turbo as well, but Mighty Morphin was definitely the best.
I watched a bunch of them growing up, but like not the same way I watched the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like I remember there was like Time Warp and Dino.
Well, the whole thing was like, I was cool when you had like the same characters kind of going forward. And then it kind of dropped off. I think it was like after Turbo, I think, they like changed up like the whole team, and then they went in space, and then it just got weird from there.
Yeah, I don't remember too much. Like, we're not the biggest Power Rangers marks. We should definitely have a...
I mean, growing up, I was a huge Power Ranger mark.
Oh, no, I mean, I was too, but I'm saying like...
Now
we're not. And when I say like we're not, because I mean that relatively, because we have friends who actually literally to this day are diehard Mighty Morphin. Like, they know everything. Like, Aaron Nova could be on here.
Yeah, the captain, yeah.
Yeah, he would, like, be able to school us on all this stuff. But, I think I like the original.
But I did kind of like, they did a series a couple years ago. It's like Dino Thunder, where they brought Tommy back, and he was like...
Yeah, I remember that.
He was one of the Rangers. That was kind of a cool series also. Next question from Rambone Slam Pig. When you're trying to get new people with very little wrestling background into NJPW, what matches or shows do you start them with?
Jeremy, what do you when you have people you want to show pro wrestling to that are not familiar with this, what do you start them with?
I don't know, because for me, I really haven't really introduced much people to New Japan for the most part. I mean, I show my brother stuff here from time to time, but usually I'm just showing him whatever show that I need to catch up on and watch.
That's a little different, too, because he even though he's not a diehard wrestling fan, he's got a background in it.
Right.
He's familiar.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I would probably show like an Osprey Ricochet. I would try and show like maybe a flippy match, athletic match, or like maybe if they had like if they were like an MMA mark or had like that kind of background, I would show them like a strong style match of like, Shingo and Ishii or something like along those lines.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree, but kind of disagree on that one because
the strong style,
a little bit, partly because of this, and this is just my personal opinion. Those strong style matches, if you're like a diehard MMA fan, they don't make a lot of sense. Because, like, for instance, like those Shibata and Ishii matches, they're so great, they're so violent. But I remember when I first, and I actually love, like, I've always watched Japanese pro wrestling, but I remember like being way more into MMA at the time. And watching these guys like sit down and take shots or just stand in front of each other and take a million forearms, it actually took me a long, I was like, this is stupid. This does not make sense. But like something like Ibushi Naito might be more like like my brother, when he saw that, he was like, holy crap. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
he's like a former MMA like fighter. And I think that's almost easier for him to get into. I think what I like to show people is kind of like what I wouldn't call it the flippy stuff. I would just say, like, to me, I would show them something that's really well-rounded.
Yeah.
That has the big strikes, the big drops, fast-paced, hard strikes, probably like an Ibushi or a Naito or a Kenny Omega match or like a Will Ospreay match.
Yeah.
I would, if they have never watched New Japan, maybe keep it under 20 minutes, maybe like a 15-minute match.
Yeah, try and get one of those, maybe one of the 15-minute bangers from the G1 this year.
Yeah, get a banger. Dude, at this point, just show them some freaking, just show them some Lance Archer. I'm pretty sure they're going to like it.
Yeah, show them Archer and Ospreay from night one.
That's what that's going to be, bro, from now on, that's my new go-to. Oh, you want to see New Japan? Here, let's watch Lance Archer.
Everybody dies.
I would show him Archer and Ibushi.
Yeah.
I love Archer and Ibushi.
That was awesome.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, that'd be my – I did show somebody about a year ago. I showed them Ibushi and Omega from the G1. And that was like a pretty good entry point. Even though it's a long match, like that really encompasses a lot of the different styles of New Japan Pro Wrestling, you know?
Yeah. All right, that wraps it up for the question this week. Thank you, everybody, for sending in your questions. We'll definitely need some more questions for next week. Now we're going to jump into the news.
So, in the news this week, big news. Did you see this report from Justin Barrasso?
Yeah.
SportsIllustrated.com?
Yeah, on John Moxley's contract.
So, according to his report, John Moxley's contract only runs through Wrestle Kingdom, and then it is done. What do you think about this?
It's very interesting. You know, maybe that's clear the deal that he signed ahead of time to work through Wrestle Kingdom, and then I'm sure maybe there was plans to renegotiate. Maybe there still are plans to renegotiate. But you know, with him being one of the top guys in AEW, maybe that's something that Tony Khan's like, I kind of want you to stick with AEW and not do New Japan, or I don't know, maybe he doesn't do it going forward. I'm not exactly sure what that looks like. Or maybe he does want to renegotiate.
This might have just been a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Because, you know, essentially his whole thing right now is he wants to do all the stuff that he couldn't do while he's in WWE. He did the G1. He's been doing indie stuff in Northeast Wrestling.
Well, the reality is with New Japan, he can do whatever he wants stateside.
Right.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, and he is. He's doing Bloodsport. He's wrestling these NEW shows. You know, he's doing AEW. I mean, he can do whatever he wants at this point, which is great.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes and ears. This is not fully confirmed or anything like that. This is, at this point, I would put this in the category of rumor. But from what I understand, Justin Barrasso is like a really credible source, right?
Yeah, he's one of the good guys out there that's reports, you know, accurate information.
So this is probably true, most likely. But yeah, very interesting. And I think that the idea that I had that he holds onto that belt through Wrestle Kingdom and then drops it there probably makes a lot of sense. Although at the same time, you could have him drop the belt to at like say King of Pro Wrestling, and then free him up for one last big match before he leaves the promotion. If hypothetically that is he is actually leaving.
Yeah.
So we'll keep our eyes and ears on that one. That's
we'll be on Mox watch.
This man might win Newcomer of the Year and then also leave in the same year. There was an interview this past week with Rocky Romero on NJPW 1972, just talking about the Super J Cup, different opinions on the trajectory of different wrestlers. If you haven't checked it out, Rocky, man, is just such an incredible interviewer, and I read it. I thought it was really, really good. If you haven't read it, you should go out of your way and definitely check that out. Royal Quest, which is next weekend.
Yep.
The 31st.
Yeah.
Running the same day as
All Out.
All Out.
And Takeover Cardiff.
Are we having an All Out party?
Yeah.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, I was planning on it.
We should get on that.
I was planning, running all day. We start 12:30 with Royal Quest, and then watch Takeover UK, and then All Out.
Yo, y'all in Florida, y'all want to come hit us up. But for real. But so Royal Quest obviously is taking place over in where are they? They're in
They're going to be in London, in the UK.
That's right. So, yeah.
The Copper Box.
Copper Box. So, with the Copper Box show, it is not going to be airing live on NJPW World.
Right, yeah. We mentioned this last week. Fight TV is paying for the production for the show. It's very similar to what happened with the Melbourne Southern Showdown show. Fight TV covered all the costs for that show, and then they had the rights for the show up to 72 hours, and then it was on New Japan World. So the same thing's going to be with Royal Quest. It'll be available on Fight. They have exclusive rights for 72 hours, and then it'll be uploaded to New Japan World.
Yep. So if you want to watch this, $30 next week. If you don't, man, we're going to have to pay for 2 pay-per-views in the same day?
Yeah. Holy
crap. And rent's coming up. We got to pay these gimmicks, these bills.
Yeah.
Jeez. Anyways, but we will be watching that live, so we'll bring you guys great coverage of that. The official, I called them out last week. I said, where's this official New Japan podcast? They actually dropped a new episode this past week, and it was an episode with Rocky Romero and Chris Charlton discussing and detailing the history of the Super J Cup. If you guys haven't listened to it, I give it a high recommendation. I know we talked a bit about this, but they go even more in depth. So if you want some background on this tournament and the history behind it, I would say definitely listen to it. I think it's like under 30 minutes. Or
yeah, I checked it out last week. Yeah, real great, especially, for somebody, if you're not familiar with the whole history of the tournament, it's definitely a good listen.
Also on NJPW1972.com, the merchandise list that they'll be bringing to both the Super J Cup shows as well as Royal Quest are now available online. So if you're going to be attending those shows and you want to get a sneak peek on what's going to be available, definitely check that out, NJPW1972.com. The free match of the week for New Japan is the J Cup finals from the 2016 iteration as Kushida takes on Kanemaru. Yeah, Kanemaru in the finals, huh?
That's crazy.
My dog. My dog. I don't remember that match being very good, to be honest with you. I don't remember that tournament being very good, like hardly at all. I think there was a couple bangers in there. I think we're going to talk about one of them.
Yeah, we are.
But for the majority, that tournament, in my opinion, was a bit of a disappointment. I'm really hoping this tournament's a lot better. On August 30th, so next Saturday, the day before the Copper Box show, RevPro is going to be holding their Summer Sizzler, and they've had a couple of different matches announced. One of those matches, David Starr versus Will Ospreay, will be taking place on that show, as well as a rematch between the tag team of Suzuki-gun, which is going to be the RevPro champion in Zack Sabre Jr. as well as Minoru Suzuki, taking on the team of the Mega Aces, Kazuchika Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi. And that match was excellent when we watched it just recently. What show? That was from the finals?
Yeah, G1 final.
G1 finals?
Yep. And, this is going to play right into the match the next night with Tanahashi challenging Sabre and Suzuki challenging Okada.
So, the rest of the RevPro Summer Sizzler card is going to involve other various New Japan talent as well. Obviously, that makes sense because Royal Quest is the next day, and they're both, they're over in the UK. So that show actually looks pretty stacked, which is awesome. And then we'll go into the other news. So this past weekend, Jon Moxley took on Pentagon in Northeast Wrestling. Haven't got a chance to check this out. I saw a couple clips. I think you've seen some too.
Actually, I watched the match yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
How was it?
I thought it was a pretty good match.
Just pretty good?
Yeah, it wasn't out of this world. They spent a lot of time brawling on the outside, and the problem with, brawling on the outside in the indie match, they don't have the best camera work to be able to capture everything. Besides that, I thought it was a good match. Two good guys there, interesting finish, and it'll be interesting to see if they do that again in AEW.
Gotcha. So I believe that match is up and available, so you definitely want to check that out. There was an interview with Alex Shelley on Wrestling Inc. This past week, and the only reason I mention it is because he talked extensively about his relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, why the relationship with Ring of Honor and New Japan was a reason for him re-signing with the company in a singles role, and how he wants to try and parlay that to potential runs in New Japan. And he says he has had some talks and discussions with the company. Obviously, he's got a long-standing history with them. And he discussed his friendship and mentorship with such stars as Jay White as well as Kazuchika Okada. I thought this was a really interesting interview, and it's available both in audio as well as typed out form.
Yeah, written
form. So that's on WrestlingInc.com, and definitely check that out for sure.
Yeah, I have to check that out. I'm a big fan of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns, and I would love to see Shelley back in New Japan and get him in this junior division and mix some things up there. I guess I need to go check out that Matt Taven match and kind of see where he's at. I haven't seen a match from him in quite a while, so I'm not sure where his level's at. But I mean, Shelley is a guy that I've been watching since early Ring of Honor 02, 03, and then his several runs in TNA, doing the Paparazzi production stuff, doing the Motor City Machine Gun stuff. Great wrestler, great guy. I would love to see him in the top spot somewhere.
And then in the last bit of outside news, I just thought this was bizarre, so I wanted to bring it up. The WWE has signed former New Japan star and former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Kendo Kashin as a coach at the Performance Center.
Yeah.
What the hell? What?
They're trying to get everybody and anybody, man.
That makes no sense to me. Bro, like when people talk about like the Inokiism era and like some of the worst of that period, like, and I'm one who goes to bat for it pretty often. I'm like, no, there was a lot of bad stuff, but there's some pretty good stuff. Almost all the Kendo Kashin stuff. And I know there's some people who love him right now are probably like freaking out that I'm about to say this, but I think the Kendo Kashin stuff is some of the most atrocious and horrible stuff from the Inokiism era. I'm sitting here like, what could he bring to the table? Like, what? I don't get that at all.
Maybe they're going to use him as a liaison for Japanese talent, maybe?
That would make sense. Because I'm like, he gonna be an agent? This match is gonna suck.
See some Inokiism on the Largo Loop.
Shh, we already do. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the news.
Yeah, so it's my turn for the recommended match of the week. And my recommended match of the week comes from the first round of the Super J Cup 2016. And it is Kushida. He was the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion at the time, taking on Taiji Ishimori. Now, Taiji was not a member of the New Japan Pro Wrestling roster in 2016 when this match took place. Taiji was actually representing Pro Wrestling Noah in this tournament. And I thought this was a really great match. I believe the Wrestling Observer newsletter has it rated at 4.5. This match was way better than their Wrestle Kingdom match last year, and thought it was a great match. You had a babyface looking Taiji and Kushida just having a great match. Definitely go out your way, check this out. Super J Cup 2016, Kushida versus Taiji Ishimori.
Yeah, I think that's the match of the tournament.
Yeah, that was from what I could find, that was like one of the highest rated matches of that 2016 tournament.
Absolutely. Definitely check that out. Really good match. And I think that's going to do it for another award-winning episode of Keepin' It Strong Style.
Yeah, that's going to wrap things up for this week. Next week, we'll be back with Royal Quest preview and predictions. And we'll see if we can get any kind of Super J Cup coverage for you guys as well. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, we are at KI Strong Style. I am at Jeremy L. Donovan. You can also follow us at Social Suplex. On Facebook, we are facebook.com/Social Suplex. You can also join us in the Wrestling Squared Circle, facebook.com/group/Wrestling Squared Circle. On Reddit, I am the Pro Black Guy. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. You can email me, Jeremy, at socialsuplex.com. Make sure you check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. On Sundays, we have One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich Latta and James Boyd. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show from Scotland. Every other Wednesday, we have our podcast dedicated to independent wrestling, Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryan. On Thursdays, we have NXT, Then, Now, and Forever. Fridays, we have Get in the Ring with Danny and Beast Mike. And on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite with Floyd Johnson Jr., Amy O, and Tiffany. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating and review, and we will catch you guys next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Get you on.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.